By the time Richard Wagner reached the age of 35, he'd already composed 6 operas, 3 of which, The Flying Dutchman, Tannhäuser, and Lohengrin, would enter the standard repertoire. Yet his experiences as a conductor and composer had left him convinced that opera, with its succession of individual arias, small ensemble pieces, choruses, and recitatives, was essentially an artificial genre, corrupted by the financial imperatives that inform pure entertainment. Wagner's devotion to the works of the ancient Greek poets and philosophers had inspired him to think of the theater's role in society as far more important than that of providing amusement. He embraced the idea that theater's purpose was to bind cultures together and even to change the nature of collective human existence. This could only be done with presentations of deep psychological realism that explored every aspect of human nature, an exploration Wagner considered to be most appropriately carried out in the realm of myth, where history and its attachment to the outer world are largely irrelevant. To implement his vision, Wagner developed the idea of the Gesamtkunstwerk, or total artwork, a concept derived from the ancient Greek tragedy in which music, poetry, drama, and visual art were treated as inseparable, fused elements. His Ring of the Nibelungen, a massive tetralogy consisting of what he called a lengthy prelude followed by 3 dramas, represents Wagner's first full manifestation of this technique. Seeking a designation that would more effectively describe the continuity-based aesthetic of this and his future works, he abandoned the term opera and its associations with sectional divisions in favor of music drama. Wagner wrote the libretti himself and set the words in a declamatory style that's akin to sung speech, assigning 1 syllable per note and leaving aside the decorative melismas of Italian grand opera. He also fully developed the idea of the leitmotif, a short, distinct piece of music that can be associated, in its original or varied form, with individual characters, places, situations, concepts, and even inanimate objects. Finally, Wagner reformed the role of the orchestra and greatly expanded its technical resources. Whereas the orchestra was primarily used to furnish accompanimental scaffolding in traditional opera, in Wagner's music dramas it is a continual presence, providing commentary and reflection on events in a manner that harkens back to the ancient Greek chorus. Although Das Rheingold serves as a prelude to the music dramas Die Walküre, Siegfried, and Götterdämmerung, it is no mere curtain raiser. In fact, the narrative, dramatic, and musical bases of the entire cycle are laid out in this 4-scene, 1-act work. Its plot, derived from medieval Nordic and Germanic heroic poetry, focuses on the psychological conflict between the desire for power and the need for love, and the incompatibility between these 2 essential human impulses. The arc of this fundamental struggle, from its initial articulation in Das Rheingold through its tragic fulfillment in Götterdämmerung, was vividly described by Wagner in a letter to a friend written shortly after the completion of the Ring's libretto. My poem shows nature in its undistorted truth, with all its opposites intact, which in their endless permutations also contain elements which are mutually exclusive and self-repelling. But the decisive source of the disaster is not the rejection of Alberich by the Rhine maidens. Alberich and his ring could not harm the gods if the latter were not already ripe for the disaster. So where is the nub of the catastrophe? The power of evil, the actual poison of love, is concentrated in the gold, which is stolen from nature and misused in the Nibelungen's ring. The curse upon it is not redeemed until it is returned to nature, until the gold is once again delivered into the depths of the Rhine. This too Wotan does not learn until the very end, at the final goal of his tragic course.